Today we wander with Blessed Peter to Rot, who lived from 1912 to 1945, and his feast day is July 7th. Peter Tarot was Catholic his entire life. His father, a tribal chief in Papua New Guinea, an island nation north of Australia, was first on his island to invite Catholic missionaries to serve his people. So Peter was baptized as a baby and grew up in a faithful Catholic home. As he grew up, Peter never stopped being interested in his faith. In fact, he was so interested in it that he was trained to be a teacher of the faith. Peter was actually more than just a teacher. He was a lay catechist. Peter's family and friends had suggested that Peter study for this special job of lay catechist when he was 18. They had noticed how close he was to Jesus and how much he loved to help others. A lay catechist is an assistant to missionary priests. There are many islands in Papua New Guinea, and they're very spread out. Even on the islands, villages were separated by rough roads that cut through jungles and mountains. Missionaries couldn't be everywhere at once. They needed helpers to stay in the villages and help the new Catholics stay strong in their faith, even without a priest. That's what Peter Tarot did. He went to school for 2 years to study, and when he returned, he was his village's lay catechist. He taught classes for children and grown-ups. He helped people with their problems. He prayed with people. And when the priest could not be in the village for a long time, Peter baptized babies and anyone else who wanted to become Catholic. He led communion services. Peter was happy in his job. Then in 1936, he had another reason to be happy. He married a woman named Paula, and in a few years, he and his wife had 3 beautiful children. But in 1942, life changed for Peter and for everyone else on the island. The Japanese, who were fighting in World War II, took over Papua New Guinea. At first, the Japanese allowed life to continue as normal for the people. But as the war became more difficult, the Japanese started treating the villagers more harshly. First, they imprisoned all the foreign missionaries. This meant that Peter and the other lay catechists had to serve their people all by themselves. They alone had the job of teaching and helping the people stay strong in their faith. Peter continued his work. He baptized people and led communion services. He even served at marriages and funerals. The Japanese were concerned. They wanted more power over the people on the islands, so they decided to win the support of tribal chiefs who weren't Christian. The Japanese told the people that they should go back to practicing polygamy. This is marriage between a man and more than one wife. Now, from the time Christians had come to Papua New Guinea, they had taught that polygamy was wrong. They could see that women in such marriages were treated badly. Peter continued to teach that polygamy was wrong, despite the efforts of the Japanese. He wouldn't agree to support it. He criticized it very openly. So Peter was arrested by the Japanese. Peter Tarot had been a faithful, joyful Catholic for all of his 33 years. There was no way he was going to give up on his faith now, even though the Japanese soldiers who had imprisoned him were threatening to kill him if he didn't give in. God had been faithful to Peter for Peter's whole life. Of course Peter would stay faithful to God. Peter was held prisoner for 2 months. His prison was really a cave. During that time, he was questioned over and over again and given chances to win his freedom by denying his faith. Peter refused. He knew what was true. He knew what kind of world it would be if no one stood up for what was true. Peter was allowed to have visitors, and when his mother came to visit one day, Peter told her that a doctor was coming to see him the next day. The doctor was bringing medicine, but Peter believed it wasn't really medicine. He was right. Peter was led into a room with the doctor. The doctor gave him a shot, then something to drink. In a few minutes, Peter started having terrible convulsions, and not long after that, he died. The doctor had given Peter not medicine, but poison. Unafraid of the Japanese, hundreds of villagers from all around gathered for Peter's funeral. They couldn't say their prayers aloud in front of the soldiers, but the prayers in their hearts were strong. They prayed in thanksgiving for the life of Peter Tarot. He had taught them about their faith. He had cared for them, prayed with them, baptized their babies, married them, and prayed over their dead. Peter had loved his own wife and children, and had shown villagers from all around what a beautiful Christian marriage was like. And now Peter had been killed for believing in all these true things. The people of Papua New Guinea never forgot Peter's witness to truth and love. When Pope John Paul II declared him blessed in 1995, they had even more to celebrate. All the world would now know about the strength and courage Jesus gives his friends in every corner of the globe. Blessed Peter Tarot didn't have to give his life for Jesus, but he did. What are some good things that you don't have to do, but you choose to do anyway?